Well, another Conor McGregor fight week is upon us, boys. And I know you guys are diehard Conor fans. That's why I introduced it that way. But we've got a main event and co-main event to break down, as well as we're each going to pick a fight that we really like on this card outside of the main and co-main. Let's start with the big one. Let's go with Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. First time around, Conor knocks out Dustin. Second time around, Dustin knocks out Conor. Who do you guys got? I mean, and is it by knockout? Because if one of y'all says submission, I'll be shocked, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we're exactly going to see Polaris on the mats here. I'm really kind of taken back about what direction I want to go for this. I'm leaning toward Dustin, but the thing that gives me pause is that we've seen McGregor get finished and get obsessed leading up to a rematch and look like a different fighter when the bell rang for the next one. It's possible he's done that this time, but the issue I think now it appears to be who is the hungrier fighter, who is the person that's more consistent, who is the person that is continually more dedicated. When Dustin Poirier was posting pictures, sweaty gym pictures of him training and helping guys in camp at ATT, McGregor was posting pictures of himself poolside with margaritas. I think that speaks volumes. Conor McGregor is not the guy who starched Eddie Alvarez. He's not the guy who won 2 belts. He's not the guy who electrified the featherweight division on his rise to the top. He is certainly still an elite level fighter, but something's missing there. And I think whatever he left behind, Dustin Poirier picked up and ran with. This man has been on an absolute rampage since they met at what was that, UFC 178 or something like that when they first fought. So this is a guy who really is about that action and has not wavered at all in his training and in his dedication to the sport. Conor McGregor last time apparently didn't train MMA leading up to an MMA fight. Like, he apparently was training boxing, and they were making a big deal like, well, next time he's going to train mixed martial arts. Well, no shit. Maybe he should have done that the first time. When you're making mistakes like that in camp, I have to question the intelligence leading to the bounce, and I have to question your desire to be there in the first place. So give me Dustin Poirier, and I think he finishes again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think that at this stage, Dustin and most of these guys around the top 5 of the lightweight division, and maybe even a little bit beyond that, we got Makhachev coming up, Fiziv's in the wings. Some of these guys, not those guys yet, I shouldn't have said them, but they're on the come up. But these guys like Poirier are just better than Conor. They just are better than him now. I wouldn't say that like the game has passed him by. He's not at that stage yet, because he definitely can still knock out some people. Like, we've always wanted to see that Tony Ferguson fight. I think that's one that's winnable for Conor. Definitely. I mean, he had success against Dustin in the first fight. It's just he could not sustain it. Dustin had a better game plan. Yes, we know the low kicks to the calf and all that. Sure, he'll be well prepared, or he should be this time around for that again. But you guys mentioned kind of the submission aspect of things, and I'm not going to say it is going to be a Polaris match, Ant, but I do think that Dustin is actually being very serious, sincere, and honest with kind of his comments about, they were talking about takedowns and you're a bitch if you take me down, Conor said, or whatever, that kind of thing, going back and forth. And I feel like Dustin is a guy who, having just knocked out Conor, with the first guy to do that, right, especially in the UFC, in a big fight, rematch, now in the trilogy, if you can go out there and beat him and finish him in the other way you can, via submission, I mean, I feel like that's something he would want to do and take a lot more pride in than just beating him via decision or knockout. Of course, this is if he could, finish him again. But I feel like he's being honest when he's saying, I'm kind of laying it out there again that I'm going to take him down. I don't really give a shit if you think I'm a bitch for taking you down. Stop me, man. That's the kind of guy Dustin Poirier is. And we've seen that he's not terrible on the ground. He's controlled plenty of people, and similar strikers, I guess you could say, like Anthony Pettis. And, we saw the Joe Duffy fight to go way back to when he first came back to lightweight. Guys who, they're not Conor, but right, similar-ish, similar enough to where Dustin isn't gonna, go and out grapple amazing grapplers. We saw the Khabib fight, and yes, Khabib's an exception, but I could see him mixing it up a lot more than he did in that first the rematch, because he did go for some takedowns in that one, right? Just wasn't as heavy with it. And not to say he will be again or this time, but I think he'll make Conor think a bit more, which will kind of negate the thoughts that he potentially has about that calf kick because of how big of a deal that turned into being. Rightfully so. It pretty much is what led to his demise. I feel like he's going to be thinking about it so much, maybe, we'll see, that then it allows Dustin to open up a lot more in every other realm of MMA, because that's just one little bit of it. So all in all, I just think that having had this fight so recently too, and how it went the first time for Dustin, I just see no reason for it to go any differently unless Conor fights very cautiously, which just isn't really him. I think that gives him his best chance to win, to maybe fight very counter heavy. But I just don't think he'll do it, especially this atmosphere, first fight back with the crowd. And I mean, yes, their fight had 2,000 or whatever, but the big crowd and all that, I just can't see him fighting that way. You know what I mean? So for me, Dustin, and I do think submission. I think he'll find it probably round 2 again.
So here's the thing. That makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, and Poirier has the tools, has more tools than McGregor to win this fight. I agree with that 100%. If he wants to take him down, try and submit him on the ground, I think Poirier has that opportunity, especially if he hurts him, and then Conor either tries to shoot or does something else. And as we saw last time around, Conor apparently stuck to boxing, didn't train MMA. It's hard to know how much truth is there, but he got chewed up by that calf kick, and that's how Poirier did get the finish. But that all being said, as Amp brought up, we've seen McGregor come back obsessed. We've seen him be like, I've got to get that win. I don't think he's that obsessed as he was against Diaz. It doesn't seem to, at least to me, it doesn't seem to have that same aura about it of I have to win. I've got to take my time. I'm not doing media and all that stuff. But it very well could be happening behind the scenes, and he might be taking it much more seriously. It's a question of whether or not we're going to get the Rocky 3 treatment, right? Is Conor going to come back and look completely different and end up finishing Poirier, or is it going to be nope, Poirier's got him, locked down and can just outbox him and again threaten him in different areas of the ring or cage rather. So I went back and rewatched the first fight for this, and then I rewatched the second one. And from the first and the second one, there are some similarities, but they grew both so much as fighters that it's you can't even really take the first fight into account at this point, right? It's very hard to look at that and say, oh, so much of that transferred over into the second one. No, Dustin's a completely different fighter. Conor too looked much different than that first time around. But even in the second one, it is important to bring up that on all 3 judges' scorecards, and I believe I also had on my scorecard that in round 1, I gave that to Conor. And rewatching that fight, Conor landed more. He did more damage. He was looking pretty good. So taking that into account, plus his nature, it's very possible he comes back and plays a much smarter game, utilizes his leg kicks more, which he was not doing at all, trying to go after Poirier's legs, which we've seen Poirier be a little susceptible to, right? He can walk through them, but I mean, he ate so many leg kicks from Gaethje, it was ridiculous.
Jim Miller as well.
Yeah, Jim Miller as well. So I think McGregor's got a really good shot here. For people just writing McGregor off saying, oh, it's whatever, look at what Poirier did last time. It's just going to happen again. I don't think that's the case. But the one thing, again, that I always question in this type of scenario is, okay, let's say Conor does much better around this time and survives the first couple rounds, wins the first couple rounds. What's his gas tank like, right? If he starts to slow down in the 3rd or 4th round, as we've seen him do in other fights, it's not going to be Nate Diaz casually strolling over and pointing at him and flipping him the bird and just standing in that one area. It's going to be Poirier who's going to put the pressure on and go after him. So I am going to ever so slightly lean Poirier here. It's basically a toss-up, but I'm going to give Poirier the edge just because I think cardio-wise, if it gets into deeper waters, that's where he'll be able to really make a difference. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if McGregor gets a knockout here. I'm going Poirier by finish in round 4, I'll say. 3 or 4. I'll go 4. But I could easily see McGregor getting a TKO win here.
I think one thing that we should point out as well is the difference in approach for Conor this fight, as far as the pre-fight buildup is concerned. Leading up to their rematch, things were very respectful. They were very complimentary of one another, smiling and handshakes and stuff at the pre-fight press conferences, and exchanging the whiskey bottle and the hot sauce and stuff. They had a pretty good rapport with one another leading up to that second fight. Conor gets knocked out. Now he's going back to he's at least attempting to go back to the pre-178 mentality, where he was calling him pea-head and whatever other dumb little insults and hillbilly and all that stuff, trying to get a rise out of him to throw him off of his game. And to see Conor on Twitter right now, like taking shots at Dustin's wife, leaving just weird, creepy voice messages for him, just things that really are stupid, just flat out stupid. It reeks of desperation to me. It reeks of desperation of someone who is trying to cling to something to rattle this man, because you clearly saw what he did to you when he was unbothered the first time. And I think Dustin has matured so much since their first encounter. Like, this sort of stuff is not resonating with him at all to that level. Now, I could be wrong, and we'll see when they do the pre-fight presser. If Dustin seems rattled by all of this, but I'd say the smart money is on him realizing, okay, this is this guy trying to play this game again, and just be cool and do what I do when the bell rings. Dustin coming in with that mentality is extraordinarily dangerous for McGregor if he's desperately clinging to whatever remnants of trash talk are left for him to try to get a rise out of him. I think that might end very, very bad for him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that, having been through both of those varieties, where he had let Conor get into his head the first fight, then the rematch, no need to even try to keep him out. But he's just a man now. That was the thing he said, right? Like, he just doesn't get fazed by these things. And I don't think that he's bothered right now. And from the sounds of it, he spoke today, right, when he was clarifying the Colby stuff, about how he just hasn't even been on social media. He's just, doing his own thing, which, even if he wasn't doing that, he'd be a scary fighter. But I think if anything will potentially rattle him, it would maybe be the big atmosphere again, because we'll have that, just the big atmosphere of the crowds being back, and Conor fans who have been deprived of Conor as well as just activities in life to go and be in gatherings and whatnot. But at the same time, the Khabib fight, I think, was similar enough atmosphere to where Dustin has pretty much seen everything at this point, right? Aside from getting the undisputed title wrapped around his waist. So I think he should be fine for the most part. It depends, I guess, on that press conference, really. But as of right now, I think we should all be good.
Yeah, no, it's good points all around. All right, so we've took out the main event. Let's quickly go through the co-main, and then one fight we're looking to see. Co-main event: Stephen Thompson versus Gilbert Burns. I see this matchup. I think Wonder Boy's stance is going to cause Burns some problems. I think he's either going to get outpointed or he's going to get knocked out. I got Wonder Boy all the way here. What say you, Ant Walker?
I am in total agreement with you. As much as I love this version of Gilbert Burns, he's kind of fallen into the trap that a lot of great grapplers do when they realize how heavy their hands are. That's all that exists. And your original discipline, the original thing that got you to where you are, just becomes kind of on the back burner, and it's the secondary option. If he goes out there against Wonder Boy with the aggressive boxing style that did give him success against Usman early on, that did get him to absolutely steamroll Tyron Woodley and earn that title shot, I don't think it bodes very well for him against Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy does fantastic against aggressive strikers, and we can look at his resume, and it's littered with guys who came out there and decided to get in his face, and for their efforts, they saw feet and fist. I believe he distributes those body parts just the same against Burns, and especially if we see Gilbert Burns go to the grappling as a secondary option, it's going to be a rough evening for him. I'm talking like what he did to Rory McDonald level of rough evening. This it's as high as I think of Gilbert Burns. I think this is a tailor-made fight for Wonder Boy to do his thing and look fantastic on the way to stealing a title shot from Colby Covington.
We can dream.
Although Leon Edwards deserves it first, but that's another story.
Oh man, I 100% agree with you, Ant. So I really don't have too much more to add because I think that was perfectly said. But I will say that even if Gilbert goes in there primarily looking to grapple, I think that we underestimate Wonder Boy's takedown defense, even though we do know how good it is. But I saw this stat the other day, and I'm gonna really buy into the stats, but 17 of 19 in takedown defense is Wonder Boy since the Matt Brown fight. That's very good. That is very good. And you think about some of the guys he's fought. So I don't think it even matters really if Gilbert goes in there. He's got to get close enough to him in the first place, which will be a task in its own right. So yeah, man, this I think is it's a very good matchup for Wonder Boy, as much as I do love Gilbert as well. And it'll suck to see him, I'm predicting him to have 2 losses in a row, but it's just, Wonder Boy is just such a unique dude. And, we got to enjoy him while he lasts. So I think Wonder Boy, he'll probably find the knockout as well. I'll go round 2 to be specific.
All right. We're all with Wonder Boy there. So all Poirier, all Wonder Boy. Now let's go through one fight each very quickly of something we on this card that we, maybe is getting overlooked, or a fight we're excited to see outside of the main and co-main. I'll start it off. I like Dreskis du Plessis versus Trevor Giles. And I know I'm butchering that name, but that's what I do. But I mean, I loved du Plessis in KSW. He was so good. And since he's come to the UFC, he's been a finishing machine. He's looked fantastic. I expect this to be a great fight. Giles on a 3-fight win streak. Although James Krause win, I don't know about that one, but still looking good otherwise. Should be a great fight. I'm excited for this one. I think it is a low-key banger. So we'll see what happens there. And who you got?
All right, I'm going to go with Carlos Condit and Max Griffin. I believe that's the headliner for the prelim card. That is going to be an action fight of the highest order. Like Max Griffin, low key is quite the action fighter. He's a guy who doesn't get talked about a lot, but he's the same person that will put on fantastic, just action heavy performances against a Mike Perry. He's the guy who's going to stand toe to toe with Thiago Alves and just have this complete spectacle of a brawl. He's someone who's more than willing to meet you where you want to meet him, in the center of the cage, and just start swinging. Carlos Condit, I think, while we know he is at the tail end of his career, his last 2 wins, Court McGee and Matt Brown, have aged pretty well when you think about their recent results. And he's a guy who stubbornly is committed to his natural born killer moniker. I think that has fireworks in the making, and really should round out a very, very action friendly prelim card on ESPN. So they know what they're doing, booking the fights that they did leading up to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, good choices there, gentlemen. I'm going to take one on the main card, though. The bantamweights, Irina Aldana taking on Yana Kunitskaya. Pretty important one at bantamweight, because bantamweight is a barren wasteland, as you will know if you pay attention to that division. Just short on bodies. But the return of Irina Aldana, coming back off of that just, quite frankly, unfortunately, horrendous loss against Holly Holm in that main event, her first main event. Broke her foot in that one, has been out for a while now. That was October, which is like the longest layoff, I believe, of her UFC career. Was very active the past 2 years or so, gaining some momentum. Was looking to be the next challenger for Nunes if she beat Holly, but now she's looking to rebound. And in a big spot on the main card of a Conor McGregor card, taking on Yana, who is right up there. And if we're going to be honest, probably should have gotten the title shot over Pena if we were to pick people. So if she can win this fight, she gets right back in the mix. Who knows? Could get a title shot because that's bantamweight. So, and the same thing goes for Yana, who, if she beats Irina, she'll be on a 3-fight winning streak, gaining some good momentum of her own right. I think stylistically, this fight can look. It's going to be a challenge for Aldana coming back because Yana has worked with Holly Holm very closely in the past. I don't believe they trained together anymore, but they had for a long time, and just a very wide range of skills that Yana presents that I think people don't give her much credit for. And it's going to be interesting to see how Aldana comes back now. She's been very focused, not done any media before this. Really, let's get back in there and get in the win column, and maybe a little bit of pressure taken off her with Moreno becoming the first Mexican-born champion, because that was we were looking at Aldana as maybe being that person because she was kind of in the lead, the front runner there, as she just was passing by everybody in terms of climbing their own rankings, and yes, easier at bantamweight, but now she doesn't have to worry about that, and maybe a good, what's the word I'm looking for, motivation to see that it did happen now as well. So I like that one a lot. And, so yeah, there's a good one for you.
All right, well there you go. Static and all going down with with that pick. But yeah, we've got our three low key bangers. We're all going Poirier, all going Thompson. Let us know your thoughts on the main event, co-main event. Who do you think gets it done, and how? Any low-key bangers we didn't mention on this, make sure to let us know, and the fights you're most excited to see at UFC 264. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, and with that in mind, Conor McGregor fight week, boys. Get out the proper 12. Get out the hot sauce. Let's do it. Hot sauce shots.